the Ashland Planning Board meeting to order at 7:17 p.m. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Ashland Planning Board meeting for Thursday, July 15th. Before briefly going over the agenda for this evening, we do have a very full agenda. I'd just like to acknowledge that I, Joseph Rubertone, am the vice chair of the board. However, this evening, due to the fact that our current chair, Tricia Kendall's husband, is also the chair of the Minda School Committee, the board has decided that I will be acting as chair for this meeting for this agenda item. So to briefly go over the agenda for this evening, first on the agenda, we have a public hearing for 90 Concord Street, which is a special permit and site plan review, which is the project to replace the current Mindes School. Second on the agenda, we have a public hearing for 100 Chestnut Street, which is a parcel of land on the part of the Village of the Americas development. This is a special permit and a site plan review. Third on the agenda, we have a public hearing for 355 West Union Street, which is a site plan review. And I believe, Peter, this will be continued again this week, correct?
Correct. That is correct.
At the end of the agenda, we have a Hillside Estates bond release discussion. And lastly, administrative matters. So with that said, Lakshmi, if you could read the public hearing notice to kick us off.
Excuse me, Joe, can I just jump in real quick?
Sure.
So before we jump into the meeting, excuse me, Lakshmi, for cutting everybody off.
No problem.
Cutting you off. However, because of the volume of the people on tonight's meeting, when we do open it up to public comment, we would like everyone to know that if you want to speak, you have to raise your hand on the camera. We'll be watching, but also most importantly, you're going to want to click the raise hand button on your screen within the Zoom call, which will therefore elevate you up to the top. So therefore, we're trying to stay organized. You are not allowed to unmute yourselves. We as co-hosts, myself and Emma, will be unmuting folks as they're called upon for public comment. So with that said, Lakshmi, take it away.
Thank you, Peter. So public hearing, 90 Concord Street special permit and site plan review. The Ashland Planning Board will hold a public hearing on Thursday, July 15, 2021 at 7:15 p.m. via Zoom to hear the petition of the town of Ashland, care of Niche Engineering and Plansburg Architects, requesting a special permit, design plan review, and site plan review as per Chapter 40A, Section 6 of the Massachusetts Zoning Act, and Chapter 282, Section 9.3 Special Permits, 5.8 Site Alteration Special Permit, 9.6 Design Plan Review, and 9.4 Site Plan Review of the Ashland bylaws. The project will replace the plan will replace the existing Mindes School building and construct a building for use as an elementary school. The building will consist of 2 floors and 104,885 square feet of gross floor area. The project will include the construction of the new building utility services, new pedestrian access and plaza areas, new vehicular access and circulation, landscaping, playing fields, and stormwater management system. The property in question is located at 90 Concord Street, Assessors Map 14, Lot 185. The site is within the residential B zoning district. Parties wishing to hear on this matter should submit comments to the planning board ahead of time and or appear at the time and place indicated above. Materials may be viewed by appointment at Town Hall during normal hours or visit our website. For more information or to submit comments, please contact Peter at 508-532-7927 or reach him at his email, which is included in the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Appreciate that. So at this time, we'd like to invite the group of people here to present this evening. It's a sizable group. So who is going to lead this presentation for us?
I'm going to kick it off. Ken Kovacs from Flansburgh, and Bill is going to share the screen. I think Paul was going to speak first, if
Okay,
you don't mind.
Sure.
Yeah, no, this will be very brief. Hi, my name is Paul Kendall. I'm the chair of the Mendez School Building Committee. As you probably all know, the committee's put in a lot of work over the last 3 years, and we're really excited the opportunity to present the project here tonight. I'm going to turn it over to the project team now. We'll do the bulk of the presenting, but I'm certainly available for any additional questions if necessary. So take it away, Kent or Mike.
Great.
Whoever's gonna
Yep.
take it.
Thank you for the opportunity to present. We're going to give you an overview of the project to date and what a bulk of what was submitted to the planning board as part of the package. I'm Ken Kovacs, the principal in charge from Flansburgh Architects. We have representatives from the landscape architect Stimson Studios, Niche Engineering represent civil engineers. To answer questions, we have traffic engineers from Niche Engineer, as well as Bill Beatrice, Flansburgh, the project manager. And we also have Michael Quinlan, who is going to kick off kind of the overall schedule. And they're the owner's project manager from Compass Project Management. And I just want to say this project has been a pleasure for me to work on. We're excited to work on public schools, especially in conjunction with the Massachusetts School Building Authority. They reviewed this project in the past after 2 years of hard work by the School Building Committee and everybody involved in community input, and overwhelmingly supported this project. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Michael Quinlan to walk us through a timeline to date. Mike?
Thanks, Ken. So obviously, this is not a new project. It's taken years to get us to this point. Just want to give you a quick history of how we got here tonight. The Ashland, even before December 2017, there was a statement of interest submitted to the MSBA for this project. It was accepted into the program in December of 2017, and then began a series of modules that the MSBA uses as a guide for the projects that they support. The first is what's called a feasibility study, and the first steps in that, we're bringing on Compass Project Management as the OPM and Flansburgh as the design team, along with all of Flansburgh's subconsultants. We then started off what's called the preliminary design program with the MSBA, which kind of lays out what the project should be. And then the preferred schematic report, which sort of answers how we solve some of those problems and turn that into an actual building. That occurred in May of last year. And then in the fall, we submitted what's called the schematic design report to the MSBA, which is really sort of a harder definition of what the project looks like and how much it'll cost. And that led to a vote for the town, which many of you may know about, in January of this year. And the town voted to overwhelmingly support the project by, I believe, over 88% of the voting at town meeting and at the polls. So obviously this is the project that the town is very much behind. So we proceeded quickly into design development to further refine the design. I should also note, I didn't put it on here, that in April, we also brought on Shawmut Design and Construction as our construction manager. Ryan and Phil are here tonight from Shawmut, who will be building the project for the town. And then we began the permitting process, which is why we're here tonight, to talk through what the project is and answer questions and figure out how we get everything tidied up. And then if you go to the next slide, please. Upcoming milestones, we will be looking to issue what's called an early trade package in September, and that will be for site work, foundations, and steel to get an early jump on the project. Those are some of the early activities that are crucial to getting started as soon as possible so that we can open the school on schedule. If everything goes according to plan and we get all the permit approvals that we need in a timely fashion, we will start construction in October. And then the rest of the trades will be bid out in December. And as the project moves through into construction, we estimate just under a 2-year construction, which means the building will be turned over to the school. The new building will be turned over in June of 2023 in time for a fall opening for that school. At the same time, we'll start a quick summer project to start to demolish and abate the existing building. and allow school traffic to be maintained on site. That will take a little bit more time than that summer, but it'll get out of the way, and then we would look to complete the athletic fields and final site work by May of 2024. So that gives you, it's just sort of a quick outline of some significant milestones that are upcoming. And I'm going to hand it back to the design team who will walk you through the design of the project.
Great. Thanks, Mike. This is Ken from Flansburgh again. Before I kick it over to Stimson Studios, this project has been developed and expressed to the school building committee, the community, over the last year and a half, and we're proud to present a product that I think clearly represents being sensitive to the environment, being sensitive to the landscape, and creating a small building footprint that provides the academic needs for this school. And located north of the existing Mendez footprint
Kevin,
is the new building.
excuse me, Kevin.
Oh.
I hate to do this, Kevin, and I'm jumping out of my turn. However, it comes to me that we have hit our capacity within our meeting, for our Zoom meeting, because so many people are on our call. Our capacity is actually 100. So I think, I hate to do this to everybody, but I am getting legal advice right now that we need to continue the meeting. Well, we're now dropping down to 98 at a point where capacity is allowing people to get in and out of the meeting. I'm sorry, Kevin.
Peter,
Excuse me, Joe. How you doing?
hi. So are you, yeah, we're back up to 100. So you're saying we need, because of the open meeting, the public nature of this, we need to continue this meeting to a future date. And I would imagine we need to get a
So
expansion on Zoom so we can take more than 100 participants, right?
just to interrupt, yeah, just for clarification, Joe. So we have a planning board account with Zoom, which we have and we are using right now. That capacity is 100, and obviously that always sufficed. However, due to the nature of this hearing and the capacity limit, right now we are above that, and due to the public meeting, we do as a town have a larger capacity through the Board of Selectmen Zoom link. However, this meeting was posted using the planning board
Understood.
Zoom link. So I
Understood.
think we're running into a situation that we would be in violation, and I hate to do this to everybody or this process, but we are at that capacity. So to stay in the legal bounds of the open meeting law with virtual meetings, we have to stop the presentation at a point where we can continue. Then we shall and we will have to reschedule using a bigger capacity Zoom link.
Is there a way to bifurcate this, the agenda items, and still have this meeting?
I am going to, 1 minute, I'm going to put you on hold.
I do have another follow-up when you're set, Peter.
Yeah, please, Joe.
So I guess my question is if we continue this particular item, what's to say that we don't continue to have this issue, or like, do we continue this item and then wait for the capacity to drop? And if it goes below 100, we go on to our second agenda item, or is this whole meeting get shifted to a future, to a date soon?
So, Joe, we luckily have Lisa Mead, Town Council, on the line, and so I'm going to ask Lisa Mead to jump in to explain this to the board, but also to all participants in the meeting regarding the open meeting law. Lisa Mead, if you could step forward and unmute yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter and Mr. Chair. I think
as the chair suggested, I guess you definitely need to continue this meeting to a date and time certain, assuming that all the attendees are here for this particular item. If after you do that, it still continues to be hovering around 90 or so, I would then just continue the entire meeting agenda. But I think that that's completely reasonable to continue this item to a date and time certain and see if that relieves your capacity. And then if it does not, then you would need to continue the rest of the meeting.
Thank you, Attorney Mead. So can we look at the calendar? Peter, is this something where we could move forward to next Thursday, the 22nd? Obviously, there's an enormous amount of people that are on this call whose calendars we're needing to accommodate. But I also understand there. Tricia, go ahead.
Just a quick thing. Is it possible just to increase the capacity on the fly? I was on
That
a
would be
Zoom
the best
call this
answer.
morning, that was starting to go over, and Zoom had kind of chimed in wanting to know that if I wanted to upgrade on the fly. Is that possible here?
Peter, you could, if I could, Mr. Chair, through you, you could, if you want to see if that's possible, Peter, the chair could take let's call it 10 or 20-minute break and say that you're going to be back on at, a specific time this evening if you wanted to investigate that ability, Peter. And then you would at least be able to entertain that if that's, I don't know if it's a possibility but you could do that, but you would have to take a break for a specific amount of time.
So just jumping in here. So we are looking into that right now. So I think that's a good call, not to continue everything. But Joe, if you want to give
Sure.
Emma and myself maybe 10,
Gonna see.
15 minutes.
Do we say 7:50 p.m.? Will give us about 15 minutes to look into that.
So you would need to do that with a motion, Mr. Chair, to take a break and continue to that date, that time period.
Thank you, Attorney Mead. But Peter, would 7:50 work? And from a time perspective, 15
From a
minutes or
time
so?
curve, I think 15 minutes will be appropriate. And then if we don't have an answer in 15 minutes, we'll have to make a decision and
Okay.
kind of go from there.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion to have a 15-minute recess of this meeting coming back at 7:50 p.m.
So moved.
Motion. Second that.
All those in favor?
Lakshmi Krishnan, aye.
Deepa Venkatai.
Anna Tesmanitsky, aye.
Trisha Kendall, aye.
Joe Rubertone, aye. All right, everyone, we will see you at 7:50. Thank you all for your patience. the Zoom meeting room we've been utilizing here was hitting our attendee capacity at 100. Out of concern for open meeting law rules, we just took a 15-minute recess, which you've just come back out of at 7:50, and planning and town staff have increased the capacity of the Zoom account significantly beyond the limits of the account. So we are going to continue on this, and I believe Attorney Mead would like to say something. Please, Attorney Mead.
Mr. Chair, if you could just hang on 1 second before you move
Sure.
forward, I would appreciate it if you could just take a pause for a minute, okay?
Not a problem.
Mr. Chair.
Attorney Mead.
So I have a concern. I was just on the phone with Mr. Matchik. I have a concern about potentially how many people may have been bounced out of the meeting and did not come back because they did not think they could attend. And so I'm worried about that. And I think this project is of enough significance that I don't know that you want to get it mired down in a potential issue.
Okay.
And same way, quite frankly, with the remainder of the matters on your agenda. So my recommendation to the board is to continue this to the soonest possible time that you can, and then continue the other matters to date and time certain as well, so you don't have to re-advertise everything.
Okay. Got it. Okay. I think, do any of other planning board members, my gut is to follow Attorney Mead here on this matter. These are significant items. Does anybody from the board have any, who's on the board, have any differing opinion on this as to whether or not to do here?
I mean, I respect the advice. As an attorney myself, I think that's very kind of risk-averse advice, which every lawyer needs to give. On the other hand, I think we're in kind of no man's land because Zoom meetings for public meetings are a new area. And I'm just thinking out loud, if we were live and we took a break for 10 minutes and we stepped out of a room and people showed up looking for us, I think the break was relatively short. So, I mean, if the board feels concerned for a 10-minute break like that, I'll go.
I think attorneys, go ahead,
Yeah.
Attorney Mead.
So my issue wasn't the break, Anna. My issue was when the meeting had started and we were at capacity, how many people got bounced out at that point, not when we were taking a break. The board has every right to take a break in the middle of any meeting. Right.
Yeah.
I understand. Thank you for the clarification.
Okay.
I think in light of that clarification, I would agree that we
Yeah,
need.
I agree too. We should continue this, yeah.
Okay. So, so I'll go ahead and say apologies to all of the applicants who are here and present, and apologies to all of the citizens of Ashland who are here wanting to listen into these discussions and matters before the board this evening. Peter, let's talk about the next possible and soon as possible continuation date for this matter, for all of tonight's agenda.
So Joe, I think the it really is we need to look at the calendar and make sure all planning board members are available, and when can the applicants next be in front of the board. As you stated earlier, Joe, that you want to put this on as soon put this on an agenda. Next scheduled meeting would be in 2 weeks, which is on the 29th. However, if this or create a meeting for next week, we can do that. I would say. I think obviously both projects would like to move forward, and we would like to have.
Yeah, Peter, I think your audio is not clear.
Peter, shut off your video,
So I
perhaps.
think making a meeting at some point we would be. Oh,
Peter, shut your video off. Your audio is barely here, please.
can you hear me? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, it's better. Yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, so as chairman, I think it really is up to the board members. Obviously, these projects are on tight timelines, not tight timelines, but obviously people want to see these move forward. I am happy, as a member of the running the planning board. I think I'm more than happy to work within my schedule to schedule the next planning board meeting for next week, and kind of go from there.
So, Mr. Kovacs, from the perspective of, do you think that the group of individuals that you have here gathered this evening, do you think it's in any way possible that we could do this on next Thursday, the 22nd?
Yes, there'll be representatives from all the engineers, all the designers to continue next Thursday.
So if I may, I believe the 22nd is scheduled for the design review committee.
Correct.
That's correct.
So that would be a conflict. The earliest from open meeting law would be Tuesday night. I don't know if that's possible.
So, Mr. Kennel, you're suggesting Tuesday, July 20th, correct?
That would be the earliest. And we are on a tight time frame, so the earlier the better, I think. That would give us obviously more time to respond to any comments or questions as well. But that's obviously pending the board's availability.
Just one thing also to note, the Conservation Commission next meeting was slated to be the 26th, as they were going to wait until after we had been in front of the planning board the first time. So there'd be just a domino there that we would have to account for that would probably get continued as well.
Yeah. So Peter, from a public meeting perspective, would we be able to give appropriate notification of this meeting, of this public hearing, for Tuesday, the 20th of July?
And Joe, do we need to find out if all our planning board members are okay?
Yeah. Yes,
We need
absolutely.
quorum, right? We need quorum, right?
Absolutely. So let's just knock that down. Would I'm sorry, Lakshmi?
No, I was gonna say I'm free, so, but I don't know about the others.
Okay. I could make the 20th work. Tricia, you
Yeah.
can do. Deepa
I can, thank you.
and Anna.
It's not a problem.
Okay. All right. So the point. So we can have a full quorum for
I
this.
was gonna jump in,
Go ahead,
Joe.
Peter.
The number one thing is on Tuesday, the struggle that I have on Tuesday is the Town of Ashland Zoning Board of Appeals has a ZBA meeting, and myself and council and Emma Snelling will be attending that Zoning Board of Appeals meeting, which will be on Tuesday. So
What about Wednesday?
would Wednesday be a proper date for everybody involved?
I could do the 21st. Tricia,
I can do it.
Deepa,
I can make it work.
Anna,
It's fine.
and Lakshmi.
I can do the
Okay.
21st.
All right.
Can I just jump in here, Joe? Town council, if this meeting with all intents and purposes would be continued to next Wednesday night, would an attorney be able to be present and or attorney from your office?
Are you talking about all matters on this agenda?
I think if we
I'll
do,
be able to, I will be able to attend.
okay.
So to Attorney Mead's point, Peter, we're talking about effectively taking this entire agenda for this evening and moving it to next Wednesday, July 21st at 7:15 p.m.
That would be correct.
Okay.
Joe, I see two select board members with their hands up.
Mr.
Okay.
Chair. Mr. Chair, I
Yes.
just,
Yes.
from a
Attorney Mead.
formality point of view, you will need to vote on each item to be continued to a date and time certain, okay?
There's, you know
Yes,
what,
we will. Understood, Attorney Mead.
the one
ahead,
item
Peter.
that I do want to check into is it seems like there could be a selectmen's meeting scheduled for next Wednesday night.
Why would that be a conflict?
The number one thing is maybe I
mean,
believe there's, you know,
Go ahead, Peter.
out of interest and respect for that board, you know, I just wanted to kind of raise that issue, Mr. Kendall.
And public might have a conflict on which meeting to attend and not voice their concern. Maybe that could be it. So that's what I think. Right?
So, fine. So are there any town meeting concerns for the 22nd of July? I understand there's a design review. Design review is
Design review can be rescheduled.
I was going to suggest we slide design review out into the next week if possible, with all due respect to the design review committee. But what about the 22nd? And we ask design review to reschedule for the following week. Okay, so let's do it in order. So planning board, is anybody on the planning board unable to attend a meeting on Thursday, July 22nd at 7:15 p.m. with this agenda?
I'm good.
I can do it.
Me
Okay.
too.
Okay.
Is this new link that we have available only for us? Will that be available for certain on the 22nd?
We've upgraded our account, Anna, my understanding. So we've purchased a much larger capacity. So I believe we now have that capacity. Correct, Peter?
That is
Emma?
correct. This is Emma. That is
Thanks,
correct.
Emma. Okay. Okay. So are there, with the to-do of reaching out to design review, Peter, and shifting that to some future date certain, are there any other concerns with moving this meeting to next Thursday, July 22nd? Okay. So we will need to vote on each agenda item to continue them to Thursday, July 22nd.
At a specific-
So at a specific time. You said, correct, Attorney Mead?
Yes,
Yes, okay. So I would entertain a motion to continue the hearing, the public hearing for 90 Concord Street special permit and site plan review to Thursday, July 15th to Thursday, July 22nd, 2021 at 7:15 PM.
So moved.
Motion. Second that.
Roll call vote.
Lakshmi Krishnan, I.
Deepa Venkatai.
Anna Tesmanitsky, aye.
Trisha Kendall, I.
Joe Rubertone, aye. The motion passes 500. Okay. I would entertain a motion. So we have not opened the public hearing for 100 Chestnut Street special permit and site plan review. Attorney Mead, do we need to continue?
Yes, you would need to continue it because it's been advertised. So even though it's not opened, you would still need to continue it.
Thank you. Understood. So I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for 100 Chestnut Street special permit and site plan review to Thursday, July 22nd, 2021 at 9 PM.
I second that. A motion moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Lakshmi Krishnan, I.
Deepa Venkatai.
Anna Tesmanitsky, aye.
Trisha Kendall, I.
Joe Rubertone, aye. The motion passes 500. Do we need to do this for 355 West Union as well? We just need to do everything, and that's
Yeah.
fine.
We just have
do
to
it?
do it. We just have to do everything.
Fine.
Yep.
Fine. So I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for 355 West Union Street site plan review to Thursday, July 22nd at 10 PM.
Motion moved.
Tab.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Lakshmi Krishnan, I.
Deepa Venkatai.
Anna Tesmanitsky, aye.
Kendall, I.
Joe Rubertone, aye. Motion passes 500. I would say at this point, Peter, we should continue the bond release to the 29th of July. You
Okay.
disagree? Peter?
I don't. I think if we
I mean, we just moved the last agenda item to 10 PM. So if that actually happens,
Yep, you can put it to 29th. That's not a problem.
okay, I'll entertain a motion. 1 second. Sorry. I'll entertain a motion to continue the Hillside Estate bond release discussion to Thursday, July 29th at 8:30 PM.
Motion moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Lakshmi Krishnan, I.
Deepa Venkatai.
Anna Tesmanitsky, aye.
Trisha Kendall, I.
Joe Rubertone, aye. The motion passes 500. Okay. So, Peter and Attorney Mead, any reason to not entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting?
None at all.
I would, well, make one suggestion that if Emma, if you have those meeting minutes, maybe we should take care of them now because we're not going to have time to do them later.
You
Oh.
can't- No, you can't. It's the same issue, Tricia. It doesn't matter what the item is. It's the same issue.
Oh, it was on the agenda. We just didn't have the items in front of us.
No, you can continue the minutes item on the agenda, but you can't approve the minute item on the agenda tonight.
Oh, I see.
Can we not approve the minutes? Can we not continue the minutes? Do we need to do that as well?
No, you don't need to continue the minutes. You can just add it to an agenda next week.
Okay.
And also, Joe and Trisha, it wasn't attached to our email, so we didn't have time to review it at all. So-
Right. I
Yeah,
just thought
sometimes we can
might
review
have
it on
time
the
if.
fly.
we're doing
Yeah,
it.
right, that's true, that's true. I forgot that.
Yep, so, okay. Okay, again, apologies to all attendees, applicants, and townspeople for this. We will see you all next Thursday, July 22nd. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Lakshmi Krishnan, I.
Deepa Venkatai.
Anna Tesmanitsky, aye.
Trisha Kendall, I.
Joe Rubertone, aye. Motion passes 500. Thank you and good night.